The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Optavia team.
Oh, I think that we actually can see everybody already. Somebody just said in the window, you can't hear me. Well, we weren't ready to start, but hey, I see there's over 400 people on here, and I am so excited to be with you tonight. I'm Charlene Green, all the way from the West Coast, wherever you are. Oregon is my home state, and I'm thrilled and delighted to be leading this tonight, which is our topic is going to be mindfulness. How many of you out there feel like mindfulness is something that either is happening for you, or you're wondering what it is, or you want to get to the next level? We're going to be talking about that tonight. But before we dive in, I want to bring on my friend, my co-host, a great leader with our company, Optavia, and I'm honored to be actually her personal health coach and watch her evolve and change. So this is the fabulous Brittany Hall. Brittany, are you live with us?
Yes, I am. Hi, thank you. Thank you for that really nice introduction. And hi, everybody. Like Charlene said, I am Brittany Hall. I live about a mile from Charlene as a crow flies, so we are neighbors in our little town. And I am just honored to be on here with you guys tonight. I'm so excited. It's going to be a great topic. I love this topic. You know, who cannot work on being more mindful? Am I right? So yeah, Charlene, should we dive in?
Yeah, let's dive in, you guys. And so here we go.
So Charlene is going to show you my transformation.
Yes, I'm going to show you your transformation. This is Brittany's transformation picture.
Yes. So that was me on the left before Optavia. And, you know, it's funny when we find our physical health and we start on that path, a lot of times our mental health will follow. And that is really what happened for me. You know, when I first met Charlene, I had 5 pounds to lose, you know, right? It was 20. So I wasn't very mindful about my physical health and what was going on there. I wasn't present in the moments with my kids. It's something I'm constantly working on. You know, I found myself being snappy and reactive. And as we know, when we're not being mindful, that filters into a lot of other areas of our life. And when we start to work on this, I think it's a practice that we all can work on all the time. I don't think you can ever be perfect, you know, at being mindful. It's really amazing, you know, how you start to show up in the world and how, you know, how our lives really change when we can work on this. So
Brittany, it's totally true. And I love your transformation picture. When you said, would you show my transformation picture? Probably most of you out there were thinking, hey, we can't wait to see her before and after picture of her body. And I really want to challenge you that as we talk about mindfulness tonight, that we're talking about transformation. And we coach weight loss as one of the things that we do for people, but what we actually provide is true transformation. And, you know, you've heard the commercial probably in the past, you know, this is your brain on drugs. Well, that was the brain when it was in a unconscious state of just a hamster on a wheel of going through the day. Have you ever driven somewhere and you don't remember how you got there? Have you ever been talking to someone and then you checked out because of technology? Ironically, technology is connecting us tonight, but it's one of the biggest blocks to mindfulness. And you're like, what? What did you say? You know, I'm seeing in the chat, oh yes, that's happened. So this is really, tonight is exploring what is mindfulness. You know, ironically, we didn't show Brittany's before and after picture, but ironically, mindfulness takes on a whole new level of possibility when we get our body healthy, because it does lift. I heard someone say in the chat, the brain fog. It lifts our brain fog. It lifts that kind of like unclear thing. Have you ever been driving in fog? We live in Oregon, so we had a lot of fog here, kind of like the weather in Scotland, very similar, and you really can't see. Sometimes it's just, you know, 5 feet, 10 feet in front of you. You can't even see your life. You're not clear on what's important to you. You know, as we see people's bodies transform, it's really interesting how many of my clients have taken on new careers. How many of them have let go of things that weren't serving them? How much the weight of our body is weighing down our mind. So this is about mindfulness, having a life that is more full, more rewarding, more fulfilling. And Brittany, I would just love if you would actually define mindfulness for us.
Yes, yeah. I think it's a word that we go, oh, I know what that means, but I like to actually look at the definition. What is it really? So being mindful is being intentionally aware of the present moment. So I want you to think about that for a second, because that's some big words, right? So being intentional, being aware, and being present. That's really what this is. So like I said, being present, are you listening to your kids? Do you hear your husband just like in Charlie Brown, like, wah, wah, wah? Or are you present? Are you listening? Are you with, are you truly with those people? Or do you go out to dinner and you're on your phone? Is everybody on their phone? That's happened to me before. So intentionally aware of the present moment. So,
love it. Yes, and you guys, I want to just kind of go off of that and talk with you for a minute about what are some really ways that you can increase your level of mindfulness, your consciousness. And so one of the first ones is meditation. And, people have a lot of stigmatism, I think, around meditation sometimes. Meditation is simply being still. It's quieting your mind. And I actually want to read to you something. I've been reading about this for quite a while, and I've been practicing meditation. I thought this was so great. It's helpful to think of your mind as a pond. The surface of the pond is similar to the mental chatter. On the surface of the pond are the disturbances. Here, there are storms, debris, freezing, and thawing, all on the surface. Beneath the pond surface, there is a relative stillness. Here, it is quiet and peaceful. It has been said, it's true that once we can really quiet our mind, it's a whole different experience. And I want you guys to know that I love that word picture is in your mind, there are so many thoughts going. Actually, 60,000 is the average number of thoughts you have per day. How can you quiet that? You can quiet your mind by going underneath the surface, getting still. The movie Eat, Pray, Love is hilarious when she tries to learn how to meditate because she can't even stop her brain for 30 seconds from pinging. It's really getting still. It's being in the moment. I was in an exercise class this morning or yesterday morning, whatever day it was. And I remember all this thought was happening. I thought, hey, I want to be in this moment. And I just quieted my mind. I was just practicing what I was doing then. Even in the middle of moving my body, to meditate, you don't have to just be still. You can just quiet your mind. So meditation is something that I really encourage you, Google a book on it, begin the practice of it. It's a skill. You can learn how to quiet your mind and be present, breathe, be still, and everything feels different. All of a sudden, the things that seemed irritating or like they really mattered actually don't really matter. It's being in the moment that matters. People matter. Relationships matter. We still have to get things done, but we can't get as much done when we're running a million miles an hour all over the place. So that's the first thing, is learn how to meditate. Second, practice gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions on the planet. One of the things that I do every night is I make a gratitude list of what I'm grateful for before I go to bed. So the last thing that I am letting my mind meditate on as I sleep is what I'm grateful for. Let me tell you, it shifts everything. You really can't be in a bad mood when you're expressing authentic gratitude. It's not a match. It doesn't match. Did you ever play the memory game when you were a kid where all the cards were out and you would have to pick one up and then try and find the other match? So wheelbarrow. You can't put wheelbarrow rainstorm together. You can't pick those cards up in the game. You have to find the match. So remember that when you're in gratitude, you're not going to be able to find a match of being really unsatisfied in your life. So gratitude is a way to restore balance, I think, versus judgment. Judgment of yourself, and Brittany's going to talk about that, I think, in our next kind of some tips on how to practice mindfulness. But not judging yourself harshly, loving yourself, loving your journey, expressing gratitude to yourself that you're making progress, that you're waking up in your life, that you're being more purposeful and centered, and also not judging others. It's so easy to be judging everyone else when, geez, don't we have enough of our own stuff to be working on? Why are we talking about other people? Why are we judging them? So gratitude really is a way to move your mindfulness up to another level, meditation, and last but not least, journaling. And this is something that's really powerful, journaling, because what's going to happen when you're journaling is you're going to be reflecting. You're going to be thinking back on all of the things that you're doing. You're going to be seeing where you're finding joy, what your triggers are. In our Habits of Health book and the workbook, we're really seeing that journaling is a way for breakthrough. So I want to give you a tip, and that is to actually structurally, remember, structure determines our behavior of what we're doing. You know, if you set a time to meditate and start to learn the art of it, even if it's for 5 minutes a day, that's just being still, quieting the voices, you know, practicing silence, like in your mind, that's powerful. If you start writing a gratitude list before you go to bed, like 3 to 5 things. And if you start journaling, and by journaling, I would think that that's setting a time to journal. And one of the things I grabbed was, you know, I know the Habits 2.0 is going to be launching. Who's so excited? That's going to be launching pretty soon. I am so excited that Habits 2.0 is going to be launching Habits of Health from Dr. Anderson. But in the meantime, I needed a journal. So I just grabbed something off of Amazon for a girlfriend. It's called Mindfulness Journal. And it was so great because it actually is a 5-minute daily exercise for me to journal and practice being mindful, practice being in the moment. And I know there's going to be new tools that we have, but until those come out, I couldn't wait. I needed to have a way to journal that would actually give me some structure. So meditate, be grateful, and journal. So powerful. And there's all kinds of apps and things. I don't think it matters what you grab. It matters that you create some structure. So Brittany, what do you think about all that?
I love it. And guess what? I got it too.
Great minds think alike. Well, Brittany, I would love for you to take us on in this wonderful time together and really talk about some real technique type things we can do to move our mindfulness forward.
Yeah. So you know, it's great when we can have practical applications for, you know, okay, those are great ideas, but how do we do it? You know, let's give some examples. So the first one is practice deep breathing. You know, and Charlene talked about meditating, and those two sometimes can go together. And like this says, you don't have to take an hour, but if you can just even sit for a minute and just deep breathe, you know, take a big deep belly breath. I think it's good to see how much air can you inhale, how much can you exhale, and just do that for about a minute. And it's amazing what that can do just for your body, everything. It just kind of calms your central nervous system and just kind of centers you. Yoga, you know, is in there too. I am actually a yoga instructor, and I love this because I do yoga every Monday morning, and I like to start my week with that. And, you know, bring your body, your breath, just aligning everything and focusing on that moment of time that is yours. So I love yoga for that. Tuning into your senses. This is interesting because a lot of times, you know, take food, for example, a lot of times we're just eating it. We're not even tasting it, you know? So even being mindful of that, of actually, you know, slowing down that process and tuning into your senses, you know, what do you hear around you? What do you feel? What do you taste? What do you see? And then I love this, simply be. You know, do we ever give ourselves time to just kind of be quiet and just sit still for a moment? You know, our world is kind of busy all the time, and we multitask, and this is a real gift to allow yourself to just sit and just be. Practice mindfulness when you daydream. You know, when do we zone out? When you're driving? Are we emailing, texting? Are we focusing on the next thing? Or, you know, use that time to just be mindful of where you are, where you're going, and then always forgive yourself. This just brings me back to the word grace. Always having grace for yourself, grace for others. When you can be mindful and practice that, it's amazing, you know, how things kind of calm down in your world when you can just say, you know what, I'm just going to give grace to that situation, or for yourself. You know, we really need to be kind to ourselves because Charlotte and I were talking today about this, and things that we say to ourselves and this kind of self-chatter that can go on in our brain. It's a good question to ask yourself, would I say that to my best friend? You know, would you treat them that way, or your kids or your family? Would you say that to them? You know, would you be that critical and that hard on them? I know for me, this is a big area that I work on because, you know, we can be critical of ourselves sometimes. So those are some really great tips for you, you know, to just kind of move forward in this practice of mindfulness.
Brittany, that is so great. I was muted. And I really love when you were talking about all of these things, but when you were talking about simply be, leave some time in your daily routine just to be. And I think of that, you guys, like a blank canvas. You know, it's so wonderful to have a blank canvas to create whatever you want on it. Creativity is a huge part of becoming mindful. I'll tell a story about that at the end, but leaving time. You know, how many of you love music? How many of you love listening to music? I love music. It like moves my soul. You know, it's so wonderful. And a lot of times when I'm working, I'll put on acoustic guitar in my office on Pandora, and it just really moves my soul. one of the things about music, I grew up playing a lot of instruments, is there has to be rest periods in music. Otherwise, it's just noise. So do you have rest periods in your life, or is it just noise? Is it just one big thing after another? I've noticed that being mindful of some of our habits of health, like our sleep, I am much more present and focused and calm when I'm getting my sleep. Chapter 17 in Habits of Health right now. Go back and read that if you need help with that. There's so many actual practical ways. Once you explore a topic and you define it and understand it, then what's the practical application of it? Sleep is really important. And, learning how to quiet all those voices. And I love what Brittany said is, what are the voices that you're listening to about yourself? Would you talk to someone else like that? Learning how to silence those and to say, we're just not going there anymore. And learning those types of mindfulness, but that is a process. It takes being aware, and we're not seeking perfection. We're seeking progress. Just a little bit of progress here and there. And journaling too. How many of you have ever started journaling and then you don't remember where you put the journal? It's like, gosh, whatever happened to that? I mean, I've opened so many books. I was like, okay, I did that for like 2 days. And that's why having an actual appointment with myself every day in the morning is when I come back and I journal about my thoughts and my day, and just, this gratitude journal is so great. There's a weekly exercise, and I'm focusing every day on something for 5 minutes. It's amazing what 5 minutes can do. And everyone has the same amount of time. Just how are you spending yours? Is it mindful or is it chaos? Learn to uncomplicate your life. I think that's one of the biggest things I would say. Okay, so let's dive back in again. Got some more great stuff for you. And I want to just bring up this wonderful training, teaching that I learned when I first started my health journey, which is all about mindfulness. Stop, challenge, choose. One of my favorite things. And it reminded me of when I was in kindergarten, and the firemen came up to my school right here in this town that I live, little tiny school, and they taught us to stop, drop, and roll if we were on fire. Like, that's what we were supposed to do. And I loved it. And when I heard stop, challenge, choose, it gave me the same feeling of safety and power as I had as a kindergartner learning about stop, drop, and roll. If you're on fire, that's going to put it out. Well, stop, challenge, choose, what Dr. Anderson created, is powerful that same way to me. So let's just kind of look at this, because it's a flow chart, which is perfect. I picked a flow chart for tonight because we are learning about mindfulness, and that's actually being in flow, in the flow of your life. It's letting go a little bit while you're tuning in more. So this is about tuning in. So let's look and see here, whether it's relationships, your eating patterns, your schedule, whatever it is. Here's what we got to do is we got to look for the trigger or the negative feeling or the unhealthy environment. And when we feel that or see that or we perceive it happening, then we stop and we take a deep breath. The breath of life, Dr. Anderson taught us, actually taking 3 is ideal. So 2 more, and then we center ourselves and we move down into the challenge phase, which is we suspend the action of what we're about to do, what you're about to put in your mouth, what you're about to say to somebody that could wreck the relationship, whatever it is. But financially, when you're about to buy something at the store, suspend the action and then challenge yourself to say, why am I feeling like this? That's mindfulness, you guys. It's connecting. This is one of the greatest mindfulness exercises that I have seen. And then ask yourself this question: what outcome do I actually desire? What do I want? You're centering yourself about what matters to you. And then let's move down one more time in the flow chart to choosing. Make the healthy choice for you, not for somebody else, not because you have to, because you are now present and aware in that moment. Mindfulness. And that will give you then the optimal response, the alternate behavior, and the awareness, as it says here. So how great is that, to be able to really see this from Habits of Health early in the book, to be able to use it in all areas of your life, because we're not coaching just a physical transformation. We're coaching transformation in your life, which is all areas. So I hope that really helps you to have a new tool in your tool belt and think of it a new way. And this is really, you guys, about tuning in. And I just love this picture, because you can just see he's just tuning in. He's tuning in right there. He even closed his eyes for a minute. Now, I think closing your eyes is great, but not if you're driving. So don't do that. But seriously, being present, tuning into what matters in your life, tuning into where you want to go in your life, tuning into where you are right now, and being in those moments. And remember, when you're not judging it, you're able to just assimilate the information like data. It doesn't have to be this right or wrong, good or bad thing. It doesn't have to feel like that. Brittany, do you have anything to add as I'm going through this? Because I know you've got a lot of thoughts as we were talking about this today.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like we said, if we can take that filter off of, right or wrong and kind of judging the situations and just kind of be present and give grace, what could go wrong?
Brittany, I love that you said the word filter, because you guys, really what it comes down to is it comes down to you being present and not finding fault so much, but actually just assessing what's happening and then where do you want to go next. And part of that is actually everything we're talking about with mindfulness is it's being silent, being still, and it's also really embracing your current reality, like where you are now, without judgment, without criticism. I've had people on their physical journey say, I just hate the way I look. And I'm looking at them thinking, you look great, but they don't feel great. But what if you began to just embrace the place you are, get really clear on where you want to be, and then what are the steps to take to get there, and quiet yourself and schedule that time for yourself. It's going to be an amazing transformation for you. So, as we're kind of wrapping up here over the next last 5 minutes, I want to just really pause on this very important tool that will help you with your mindfulness. And, I want to take you guys back to when I started my journey 3.5 years ago. It'll be 4 years actually in August. We're coming up on 4 years. I reached out because I heard about this company and that they coach wellness. I thought, and that's funny, you guys, because wellness and mindfulness are all over the newsstands. Did you see that Time Magazine had it on their newsstand just recently? It's everywhere. And I thought, I have a great life, but I'm actually looking to take it to the next level. I'm looking to expand my life. And when I saw this chart, I was able to look at it and really immediately, I didn't need to do a lot of thought, just my gut check, my gut feeling was healthy body. On a scale of 0 to 10, where am I? Healthy weight, eating, sleep, physical activity, relaxation, a safe and healthy work environment, which really means that I'm not putting myself at risk, because that would be unhealthy to my body to hurt myself, fall off of a ladder, whatever that looks like. And I thought, you know what? I actually don't feel rested. I have okay energy. I'm not really working out because I tried that and it didn't give me any results I wanted. I was just exhausted with all the extra weight on me. I'm not at a healthy weight. I was like a 2 or a 3. So I knew right away, and it wasn't with judgment for myself, but awareness, which is part of being in the present moment, that I wanted to move my health forward. And it's really great. I really hover between an 8 and a 9. I feel like now it's really about upping my physical activity. I took off over 60 pounds. I've really been able to keep that weight off through my habits. And if I put some back on, I can dial right back in because I know how to do it. So healthy body, where are you at right now? And where do you want to be? Okay, but it doesn't stop there. And so many people aren't thinking of transformation. They're just thinking still about a body change. But transformation involves these other 2 areas. It's so important with your healthy mind and your healthy finances. Let's look at those just with data, not with judgment. Healthy mind, that's hobbies and fun. Do you have those in your life? Community involvement, spiritual time, strong relationships, meaningful, I should say, engaged at work, like where you have some passion and you feel a feeling of fulfillment. I think a lot of people are really bone dry in this area because they don't have any time freedom, because they're locked in and loaded with their jobs. And I say multiple because a lot of people are working multiple jobs because of their finances aren't healthy. But if we look at the healthy mind, where are you in this feeling of satisfaction in your life from 0 to 10? I feel like I was like a 5, but Lee, my husband, felt like he was like a negative. He goes, what's a hobby? I don't even know what that is. All he did was work. So that is something that we found so much freedom as we began paying this forward and helping other people. We actually really found what we were looking for, which was the satisfaction and fulfillment of serving mankind and time freedom. He was able to leave that career that was draining his time. And last but not least is healthy finances. It doesn't have to be only through coaching, but it's an amazing venue. A lot of my clients get promotions. They do different things when their body starts getting healthy because all of a sudden their mindfulness begins to kick in of what they think they're really worth and what they want their life to look like and what's not fitting. A lot of your clothes don't fit anymore as your body transforms, but a lot of your life doesn't sometimes fit. You change things around because now you feel empowered. Healthy finances, where are you at from 0 to 10 here? Just embrace that place that you are and then begin to imagine the possibility of what can be for you. Abundance, freedom, money management, saving for the future, being able to contribute and give, resources to create memories and experiences, vacations. Instead of saying, I'm going to take one, you're able to do that for real. So this is really where it's at, is the transformation of your life. And I really invite you to explore what that would look like for you, having a life transformation, not just a body transformation with Optavia. Reach back to your health coach. You're going to be able to stay on and see a little trilogy video here in a minute, but that really is the trilogy of the 3 things I just talked about and how it all works through coaching. There's so much there for you. Before we leave you today, you guys, I just want to just give you a few other ideas. There's so much as you begin this journey of diving in, journaling because you set a time, getting some tools in place. If you don't know what meditation is, understanding how to quiet that. Structure gives us freedom. If you're not hydrating your body, your emotions aren't where they really need to be. Water's so important. And if you start measuring it, with 2 or 3 rubber bands on your water bottle, as you've heard before, this is mindfulness. You begin to mindfully know. So it's so powerful. And what happens is you just begin evolving from glory to glory, from level to level. Things just start opening up for you. And as I've been on this journey myself, really for many years, but especially for the last 4 years, I'll tell you that the 7 things that I have begun to focus on, and I'm going to leave you with this, are really life-changing. Because now, all those little things, they really don't matter. What matters is our mission in life, our connection to ourselves, our relationships, and our connection to what actually matters in our life. Instead of just going through the motions, instead of living a life that's actually not that meaningful to you. So I'm going to give you the 7, and the first one is creativity. I love to find ways to express creativity, and that doesn't have to be artistic because I'm actually not that artistic. As a matter of fact, though, my mom used to take us to ceramics when I was a little girl growing up, and it didn't matter if we painted the ceramics perfect. It was a time of mindfulness, just to come together. Women used to quilt in circles. People used to gather. That's one thing Optavia has done, is it's brought that back in different ways to express your creativity. So find a way, whether it's gardening or whatever, to express the creativity within you. The second thing is kindness. Find a way every day to express kindness to other people. This is mindfulness, is looking for ways to be kind. Kindness is always in style. And it's so fulfilling within yourself to express kindness. I remember waiting in for a parking place and with my blinker on, and somebody jumped in and took it. And I just waved and smiled because I thought, wow, they must really need that parking place. Express kindness to people. Find ways to be kind. Love. How are you expressing love in your life? To yourself, to other people? So powerful. Love is one of the most powerful emotions. Find ways to express the love in your heart. Beauty. Find ways to appreciate beauty. Brittany talked about being in the moment. I was sitting in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Optavia sent us there on a thank you trip. And I was just sitting there and I looked over and there was a little bird hopping around. I saw all the beauty on this bird, all the different colors, all the different patterns. And I thought, gosh, there is so much beauty in this world if we just pay attention. But if we're not mindful, we miss it. And then expansion. Expansion is where things are ever growing. Make sure that's you, that you're expanding your horizons, you're expanding your possibility, that you're ever, ever growing. Abundance. You know what? There is so much more than where you are now, and you don't have to get it. You just have to open up to it and then begin moving towards it. When you know where you are and you know what you want, things start to change as you take the steps. And then last but not least is receptivity. Are you open? Are you saying yes to life? Are you fearful, or are you moving where you need to be? Happiness is a really important factor in our life, and it comes when we have freedom, and freedom comes when we have courage. So I just invite you to begin your journey of mindfulness and take it to a whole nother level. Brittany, I want to thank you for being on with me. You're so much fun, and the people that I've been able to meet through Optavia, it's the paycheck of the heart and the joy in my life. Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. This was great. Had a great time.
I had a great time too. So we challenge you to be more mindful, not as a job, but as a joy. And I think that's all we have for you tonight. So God bless everybody, and we'll see you soon on Habits of Health.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Optavia team.